Welcome to Live Daf, your online Daf Yomi Shir.
Shalom Aleichem and welcome back. Today's Daf Hayomi is Nazir Nun Ches. We are holding on Nun Zayin Amud Beis, 3 from the bottom. In yesterday's Daf, we discussed Hakafas Kol Harosh. So although a man may not remove the corners, the payas of his hair, what if he does a complete removal? All his hair on his head, all at once, together with the corners. That's called Hakafas Kol Harosh, a complete removal. Perhaps that may be different than simply removing the payas of your existing hair. There's no hair left. So there's no payas. That was a question we discussed yesterday. And actually, we came up with the conclusion that according to Shmuel, even that type of hakafa is an isra. Ultimately, removing the payas is considered asr. Says the Gemara today, Lema, perhaps this question of hakafas kol harosh is tanoi, is dependent upon two shitos tanoim, asr or mutter. The Tana Rabbanon, we have a brisa which focuses on the pasuk describing the tiglachas, the haircutting of a mitzvah. First, the pasuk says, remove all his hair, and then the Torah specifies roshai, the hair on his head as well. What's the point? Isn't it included in all his hair? It's coming to teach you something extra. You can even remove those payas without concern. As a fulfillment of the tiglachas mitzvah, which is a mitzvah saseh, it pushes away the isra, the loy saseh of loy sakivu pas reishchem. Because the pasuk tells us, typically we don't do that. Loy sakivu pas reishchem. Yachal af mitzvah came, perhaps even a mitzvah is bound by this isra. Talmud Leimar, that's why the pasuk says roshai, remove all the hair, even all the hair on your head, even though it includes the payas. The asay of tiglachas mitzvah overrides the lois asay of lois hakifu. The Ramban and Chumash, of course, tells us that mitzvahs asay represents love of Hashem, that positive energy. Mitzvahs lois asay represents yira, fear, awe. Ahava, he says, is stronger than yira. So, according to Brisa number 1, the word roshai teaches us asay, doiche lois asay, a very basic halacha. So that's the pasuk Tamalema roshai. V'tani idach, we have Brisa number 2. Again, focusing on the word roshai. Matamalema, what's the point of this pasuk? Not needed to teach us the basic halacha of asay, doiche lois asay. We know that from elsewhere. Rather, it's coming to teach you something more advanced. Because we know a Nazir may not cut his hair with a razor. Tavar lo yavar al roshai. Yochel af Nazir mitzvah came, perhaps. If this Nazir happens to be a mitzvah who's compelled to cut his hair on account of his tzaras, may he do so or not? Tamalema roshai comes the pasuk and says, even his head, even in the case of a Nazir, it's mutter, because the mitzvah saseh of tiglachas mitzvah is stronger than the Isurei Nazir, even though the Nazir has a double issue. Mitzvahs lo yisaseh, right? Ta'ar lo ya'avar al roshai. In addition to a mitzvah saseh, kodesh yeh. So it's that package, essay and lo yisaseh, still there, pushed aside in order to accommodate tiglachas mitzvah. So Brisa number 1 learned that roshai is coming to teach you the heter of hakafas kol harosh. Otherwise, it would be us. Brisa number 2 doesn't need the pasuk for that. Rather, it's coming to teach you something of a greater chiddush. Even a Nazir can do so. My love tanoi, perhaps our question of whether or not hakafas kol harosh is asr is based on this machlekes tanoim. That's the hava min in the Gemara now. L'manda Amar min Nazir, Brisa number 2, who learns the halacha of Nazir from this pasuk, rather than the basic halacha of hakafa, because he holds hakafa is not an issue. Because Savar, a Matzahira. He's doing Hakafas Kal HaRosh, a full removal. Lo Yishma Hakafa, there's no Isser. V'chi Asa Kra. So what then? Is the pasuk coming to allow? Limitchi es loisasei v'asei. It's coming to allow this by a Nazir, despite the presence of a loisasei v'asei. But simple hakafa, that wouldn't be an issue in this case. It's hakafas kal HaRosh. It's a complete removal. V'idach savar, Brisa number 1 holds, no. We need permission for hakafa in this case. Hakafas kal HaRosh, shma hakafa. Even complete removal is considered asr. That's why the pasuk is coming to tell you can override the Isser of Hakafa. So it's a machlekes Tanai. Amar Rava, no. The Kuliyama perhaps all agree Hakafas Kal HaRosh, no issue. Lo Yishma Hakafa. So when you do a full removal in one shot, you haven't removed the payas. There's no hair. It's not us. V'chi asa kra. So why does Brisa number 1 need to bring a pasuk to be mater? He's speaking that he didn't do it in one shot, in one go. Kigayin shehikiv. First he removed his payas, resulting in sort of like a circle all around, his hair, his head. And then afterwards remove the rest of his hair. In this case it would be aser. This is not hakafas kal HaRosh. That's only when it's in one go. Here it was a 2-stage haircut. First the corners, that's us, and then the rest of his hair. So the pasuk is coming to allow that. Asks the Gemara, then why would it be mutter? There's an easy way out. If you have a permissible option, why would you be allowed to do it in this way? Should he do it on one shot, he wouldn't be chayiv. That's hakafas kal HaRosh. Ki hikif. Are you telling me that even if you should do it differently, in a 2-stage haircut, first hikif and then the rest, it wouldn't be chayiv? Why? Does the pasuk then allow this type of situation when you can have an easy option which doesn't present a conflict with the Isser? Listen to Rish Lakish, who tells us, sure, if you have no option, you're compelled to do the Isser in order to fulfill the mitzvah. Sure, the asay is deichel esasay. So whenever you encounter a seeming conflict between an asay and a leisasay, evaluate it further. If you can somehow satisfy both, avoid the conflict, sure, mutav, you should do that. If you're compelled, you have no choice, fine. Then we apply the halacha of yavai asay, v'yidche es leisasay. So why would he be allowed to do it in a way that's asur if you can easily do it in a way that's mutter? That pshat doesn't work. Elo de kuli alma hakafas kal HaRosh shma kafa. Rather, both brises will hold that it's asur, even if it's kal HaRosh. That explains brisa number 1. We need a pasuk of Rosh be mater hakafa because it's asur. However, brisa number 2, who uses the pasuk for a more advanced halacha, for the Nazir, for the asay v'lois asay, uman demoikim la kra lemitchi lois asay v'asay. So brisa number 2, how does he know the basic halacha? Lav grade minoli. How would he know that an asay is deiche a lois asay? Perhaps only the Nazir would be allowed. It's different, but your basic halacha that asay is deiche any lois asay. How does he know that's true? The answer is he has another source. So there's no disagreement in facts here, in halacha. It's just a question of where to source it. Yalif mi gidilim. He learns from halacha of tzitzis, where we find this concept that asay is deichel asay. Mitzvah tzitzis justifies even wearing kilayim. Damakroli silbash shatnis. Pasuk says, don't wear a mix of wool and linen. And at that juncture, in the next pasuk, the Torah presents the mitzvah of tzitzis. Why are these two mitzvahs presented near each other? Betanya, we learned a brisa lisilbash shatnis. One may not wear shatnis, but the pasuk by placing tzitzis next to shatnez teaches us hagdilam tasel mehem. But tzitzis you can make from shatnez, whether it's strings of wool and some of linen, whether it's the beged of linen and the strings of wool. Why is this mutter? The mitzvah saseh of tzitzis is doichei, lo saseh of kilai. Asks the Gemara, Uman danafkali mi roishay. Let's go back to Brisa number 1, who learned from roishay that aseh is doichei lo saseh. My time lanafkali migdilim. So why didn't he use the same source as the other Brisa? Why not learn from tzitzis? Answer is it's unavailable. That pasuk is applied for something else. Look at the Rav, look at the Us. So it's coming for Rav's halacha, the Rav Rami. Rav presented a seeming contradiction between the Pesuk and Ksiv. First it says V'nosnu al tzitzis hakanaf psil techeles. Tzitzis and hakanaf go together. The strings and the corner of the garment are made from the same material. Min kanaf psil techeles. The psil, the tzitzis, should be of the same type of material as the beged. So wool for wool, linen for linen, etc. Uksiv tzemer pishtim yachtav. Then we have a pasuk that tzitzis can be made of wool or linen, or both. Okay, Tzad, what do we learn from here? We have two options. Tzemer pishtim, if you use the more prominent materials, wool, linen, these are the primary fibers, they can accommodate any garment of any type. Paitrim, they can exempt, they can accommodate bein b'minan, whether it's a garment of the same type of material, bein shalei b'minan, or a different type, because they're important, prominent material types. But shar meaning other forms of fiber, other forms of material, cotton, silk, b'minan paitrim. It can only exempt something of the same type. Shalei b'minan, but if it's a garment of a different type, ein paitrim, it can't be applied to it. Okay, so this, connection between tzitzis and tzemer pishtim, the pasuk of kalayim, is needed for that halacha. Unavailable to teach you the basic halacha of essay, doichel essay. Rather, that is done from roishai by mitzvah. And the other shita disagrees. He uses the pasuk of gdilim, of shatnez, for the basic halacha, asay doichel essay, leaving him with the pasuk of roishai for the more advanced halacha, that at times an asay could be doichel, even a lois asay v'asay, such as a nazir mitzvah. Continues the Gemara and asks further. Vaitana demapik l'roishei lilav greda. Brisa number 1, who learns from roishei the basic halacha. Asay is doichei lav. So how does he know the more advanced halacha? The asay asay, v'dochi es leis asay, v'asay minalan. How does he know that at times an asay can push aside even a leis asay and an asay together? How does he know that? Nafkali miziknoi. That's learned from the next pasuk. Sorry, the next word in the pasuk. Right? A mitzvah should take off all his hair, including roishai yen zik. Why do you have to specify the hair on your head, the hair on your beard? It's all included. That's an extra expression to teach you this halach. The Sanya, as we learned in a brisa, zikna matam alemo. What do we learn from zikna? Fishanamar pas zukanam leigalechu. Typically, a person is not meant to shave his beard, and this pasuk is specifically stated by a kohen. We learn Yisraelim from Kohanim, but the pasuk primarily deals with Kohanim, and there's an Isser, lois asay, plus a mitzvah asay, because Kedoshim Giyu is a directive to the Kohanim. Keep holy, maintain your status. So violating this halach would involve a lois asay and an asay. And the pasuk allows it. The pasuk authorizes a mitzvah to remove all his hair, even his beard, and even if he's a kohen. We set aside the leis asay and the asay. Yochel af kohen mitzvah kain. So once we have the pasuk, perhaps it applies even to a kohen who's a mitzvah. You can't remove your beard. Tamalim is ziknoi. That's why the pasuk ziknoi comes and says no. A mitzvah may do so even at the expense of the leis asay v'asay. Asks the Gemara further. Uman demapik le'roishel asay v'leis asay. What about brisa number 2, who used roishel for the halacha of asay v'leis asay? Why does he need the pasuk of roishel? Leilaf mizikna. Why can't he learn from this pasuk as well? Ziknai. That it asay is doichel asay v'asay, just like by the Kohanim it does. Asks the Gemara. Well, so he responds and says, well, according to your way of thinking, the Kamilan Ba'alma, what about the general consensus? We all know the le'asay asay. We know for a fact that throughout the rest of the Torah, unless there's a special reason like the Mitzvah, the Nazir, we don't allow the asay to push away a lois asay and an asay. There are many ways to explain this, one of which is based on that Ramban. Asay is deicha lois asay. Ava is deicha yira, but once there's another asay opposing it, he's out of business. You can't push aside. An asay can't push aside another asay. Certainly not when it's with another lois asay. So bottom line is, why? We know that generally lois asay v'doichi doesn't push away a lois asay v'doichi es lois asay. Why not? According to you, we just found a source that it does. Kayin can shave his beard if he's a mitzvah, despite the lois asay present there. Why can't we learn from the kain that yes, you can push aside even two? Apparently kain won't provide a source because the kain is different. Because this isser of beard removal by kaihanim is not prevalent amongst all the kaihanim. Women don't have the the halacha, so it's not something which is universal even by kaihanim. So just because you can push aside that isser wouldn't necessarily provide any indication that you can push aside a regular isser when it's a lavan and an asay. So that being the case, that kohen cannot provide a proper source, so then it answers your question as well. This is Bryson number 2 speaking. He's the one who said that Roisha is coming to be mater a mitzvah Nazir to shave despite the lois asay present. So the question was, why does he need the pasuk of Roisha? He could learn from Ziknai, which allows the kohen to do the same. The answer is Nazir mikohen nam eloyolef. Just like you can never learn from kohen, to elsewhere. Likewise, the Nazir can't learn from the kohen. Shekain lav she'ein neshav v'akol, because the kohen's halacha is not a universal halacha, and therefore it doesn't provide a proper precedent. So if you want to know whether a Nazir can shave, notwithstanding his asay and lois asay, you need a new pasuk, which is Rosh. Asks the Gemara further, Uman de'moikim lahay Rosh ben Nazir. So let's go over to Bryson number 2, who in fact applies the word Rosh for the heter of the Nazir mitzvah shaving. So then, why do you need the pasuk of Ziknai? Why can't you learn the kayin from the Nazir? Once you know the Nazir can set aside the asay and lois asay to satisfy the tiglachas metzora, so then I would assume the kayin as well can set aside his issues, his isurim, i.e., shaving his beard to accommodate the tiglachas metzora. So lo mali ziknai. The answer is Miboilik, the Sani is coming to teach you a different halacha. We all know that a mitzvah will shave, but how? Answer is with a razor. How do you know that? Pasuk doesn't specify razor. We learn it from this drasha, from this word of ziknai. I'll just tell you briefly in advance. The point here is that the Torah is being mater a mitzvah to shave off his beard, which is only an isser if he does so with a shaver, as we're going to see soon, with a razor, right? So, the very fact that the Torah has to sort of trouble itself, go out of its way to give the mitzvah a green light to shave his beard, indicates that the mitzvah as well is using a razor. Otherwise, wouldn't be an issue. So that shows us that a mitzvah will shave only with a razor. Okay? The Sani, so the word ziknai teaches us this very halacha. As we find in the Brisa, ziknai matam alayim. What's the point of the word ziknai? V'shenemar, as we know. Upas zakanam legalechu. So again, this is a pasuk by Kaihanim. Don't remove the corners of your beard. Yochal af kohen mitzvah kain. Perhaps even when he's a mitzvah, which requires a haircut, a full hair removal, he's limited. He cannot remove his beard. Tam alayim ziknai. That's why the word ziknai comes and tells you he can do that. It's a mitzvah to remove even the ziknai. Umanal de betar. Now, how do we know that the tiglachas of mitzvah is with a razor? And the answer is going to be because why then do we need a heter of ziknai, which is only an isser betar? Apparently, we're speaking about a tar being used. The sani, they shouldn't remove their beards. Perhaps even using his scissors, which is not your typical way of shaving, would also be a violation. Full removal. at the root. And scissors doesn't accomplish that. Okay, Iloi Sashkas. If only the word Loi Sashkas, I would say, well, any type of destruction, perhaps even removal by way of a tweezers or this plane or some other tool, which fully removes the hair, would constitute chiyuv. Talmud Leimer, no, you need to do a proper shave. Your typical shave, which is by a razor, by way of a razor. Talmud Leimer, pasuk hanam lo yigalecha. What's the derech of giluach? Giluach, but also hashchasa, full removal. Only one thing can do that. Eze giluach, sheish ba'ashchasa. Give me something which creates a giluach and hashchasa together. Havayim is a tar, only by way of a razor, and that would present an isser by a regular kohen, and that's why the pasuk by mitzvah says it's mutter, because typically you would think because the mitzvah is using a razor, it would be aser. You need a special heter, and that's why you need a heter, because the mitzvah is using a razor. There's a raya. The glachas of mitzvah is by way of a tar. Continues the Gemara. Let's go back to Brisa number 1. Uman demapikle lahiroishe lelav grade, who applies roishe for your basic halacha to be deiche alav. Question is, lama li lemichtav roishe, v'lama li lemichtav zikne? Why does the pasuk now have to say the word roishe and the word zikne? Now, Tosfos in the second pshat explains the Gemara like this. We've established that the word zikna is to teach you the glachas of matzorah b'sar. Okay? Now, we're assuming that it applies to whether he's a kohen, whether he's a Yisrael, because the Torah is just, telling you. Any mitzvah does this. We're not differentiating between a kohen or Yisrael. Therefore, explains Tosfos. Let's go back a step to the word roishe. Shave everything on your hair, on your head. Everybody. We're not differentiating between a regular person, a Nazir, right? Tosfos says, Mikra moli dibra akasav. It's a general directive. All mitzvahim will follow this procedure. So bottom line is, even according to Brisa number 1, the word roishe is a reference to a regular Yisrael. Don't worry about your payas, despite the fact that there's a leis asay. It's referring to a Nazir as well. Don't worry about the asay and leis asay that you might encounter. Don't worry about it. Mikra moli dibra kasav. It's a general, unrestricted pasuk. All circumstances. So once that's been established, once we know from Rosh that we're doicha a leis asay, once we know from Rosh we're doicha leis asay v'asay. So why did the Brisa earlier tell us on the bottom of Numches Amud Aleph that the word ziknai was coming to be matter, beard removal for a kohen, despite the fact that there's an asay and leis asay? What do you mean? The word Rosh already taught us that. Even a Nazir, who's a mitzvah, can shave, despite the fact that there's an asay and leis asay. Right? So, once we know that everything's included in the word roishay, so why do we need the word ziknai? La mali lemichtav roishay, v'la mali lemichtav ziknai. Because the lashon of the pasuk is general. Mashma lemitchilav greda, v'mashma lemitchilav sevasei. Because the word roishay is mashma, a regular person. Don't worry about removing the payas, which is typically a lav. Don't worry about it. So it's mashma to be doicha, a regular situation, a lav. Mashma lemitchila sevasei. It's mashma, even a Nazir can shave, even though you're going to be doicha sevasei. So why then does the pasuk have to continue with the word ziknai? And the kasha really is, why did The Brisa on Amud Aleph on the bottom tell us that Zikna is coming to teach you that a kohen can remove his beard despite the fact that there's Leis of Asay. Leis of Asay can be pushed aside because of the first pasuk, of the first word, Reisha. That's the kasha here. Right? So the word Reisha is a general word applying to all situations. It's a heter for Asay, for Leis Asay, for Leis Asay. Hilkach Shaklu v'yavoy. So the pasuk is unspecified, so it can be applied to a case of a Leis Asay, to a case of Leis Asay, Shaklu. Both cases are sort of equal in weight. We have no preference. We have no indication that the pasuk is referring to one case over the other. Yavoy names include both of them, and both are mutter. The answer is going to be that we need both psukim. Reisha is focusing on a Yisrael. The word Zikna is focusing on a Kayin. And again, despite the fact that Reisha teaches us that even a Nazir can cut his hair, despite the fact that we're pushing away a Leis Asay, that won't provide any heter for a Kayin to violate his Leis Asay by removing his beard. Kayin min Nazir layel. If you can't learn from the Nazir, listen to this, because a Nazir has a weak point. Shekein yeshna b'she'ela. The whole Naziris can be undone very quickly. Matir neder. Naziris is a neder commitment. You can undo it. So perhaps because of that leniency, it allows itself to be pushed aside. So Kohen cannot learn from there. And in the reverse as well, you can't learn Nazir from Kohen. Once you have the word Zikna for the Kohen, why can't you learn Nazir from Kohen? Nazir Kohen Loyalef, like we said before, Shekein Lav She'ein Shavah B'Kohen, because the Kohen's love is not universal. That answers our question. From the word Reisha we learn. Tiglachas of Matzor pushes aside the Isser of Hakafas HaRosh by a regular person. Likewise, it pushes aside the Isser of Tar, Lo Yavar HaRosh and Kadosh Yeh, the Asay and Leis by Nazir. The word Zikna is for the Kohen, to allow him to remove his beard despite the fact that there's a Leis of Asay, and we learn from there as well that apparently we're dealing with a razor. Otherwise it would be no issue. Tiglachas of Matzor is with a razor. Concludes the Gemara. Now comes the big question. By Matzora, the Asay is Deicha, even a Leis of Asay, if he's a Nazir Matzora. The Asay of Matzora pushes aside a Leis of Asay by allowing a Kohen to remove his beard. So shouldn't we learn from here to elsewhere that Asay can not only can push aside a Leis of Asay, but even a Leis of Asay? No. Because both these examples, Nazir and Kohen, each has a sort of a deficiency, like we explained, and therefore they can't provide proper precedents for elsewhere. We can't learn from these cases to elsewhere, because we can refute that connection using the factors we just mentioned. So, to sum it up, the way Tosfos learns the Gemara, at the end of the day, there isn't really much of machlekes between Brisa Aleph and Brisa Beis. So it's like this. We know that a mitzvah Asay is Doicha, a plain Leis Asay. Brisa number 1 learns from the word Reisha. Matzora can shave and remove his payas. Brisa number 2 learned from Gedilim, from the pasuk of Tzitzis. That pasuk was unavailable to the Tana of Brisa number 1 because he used the pasuk for the halach of Rava about Minam and She'ena Minam. And basically going down from here, it's just going to be all the same track, according to both shittas. Brisa number 1 will learn that Asay is Deicha. Lois Asay by a Nazir, from the word Reisha, the same with Brisa number 2. What about Lois Asay of Kohen? That's from Ziknai. And likewise, the word Ziknai tells you the Giluach Matzor is Betar. And that's why we need a new heter to allow him to remove his beard. Continues the Gemara, Amarav, Mekel Adam Kol Gufa Betar. A person can use a razor to shave all the hair on his body, even in those places where it's not customary for men to do so. Rather, it's a woman's thing. There's no issue. Meisvi, we have a kasha from a brisa that tells us that it's asur. Amaver beis hashechi, or beis erva. If one removes the armpit hair, the beis erva, the erva area hair, how is it like? There's malchus. How can Rav permit it? Answer is, it all depends how he did it. It's only asr if it emulates the way women do it. Ha besar, using a razor is asr, misbraim, using a clipper or scissors would be mutter. What do you mean? Rav nami betar kama, Rav clearly spoke about a razor. Ke'entar spoke about using a similar method to a razor, i.e. scissors. That's not the derech of nashim, and there's no isser of leis silbash, which typically restricts a man from following in the mode of a woman. Okay, we'll pick up these sugya tomorrow, B'ez Hashem. Goes into the next daf. So in summation, we learned about the pasuk of Metzora, the extra words and what they teach us. Asay derech elois asay. In some cases, asay derech elois ve'asay. If it's a Nazir Metzora, if it's a Kain Metzora. We concluded with the discussion about hair removal, which will continue as Hashem tomorrow. It turns out that in the next daf we learned that even if it's not done in the conventional manner, it's still asr. The Rabbanan, that's how we paskin. All the best to you and Hatzlacha Rabbah.